Here's a computer. We're going to start with the front of the computer. That's the bit you're used to. It hasn't got much on it. It's got the power button, some inputs for microphone and headphones, and some USB ports where you can stick in flash drives or a mouse or whatever, and your drive, which is like your DVD drive or your Blu-ray drive. Okay, we can turn it round now. I'm going to look at the back. Okay, there's not much to see at the back either. There's where our power goes in. Now this is the power supply, which we'll look at in more detail when I take the back off. That gets really hot, so we have a fan in there to keep it cool. Inputs for microphone and so on here. These are ports. We don't use these very often anymore. It's a parallel port. We used to put our printer in here, mouse and keyboard in there, but now we put them all in these USB ports, as you know, or they're connected wirelessly. Okay, this big one, which looks slightly bigger than these, this one is for your connecting to the network. Okay, so behind there is a NIC card, which stands for Network Interface Card. Okay, and there you can connect that in. Okay, so now we're going to look inside. Here we have inside the computer, and as you can see, it's not much in it. It's basically empty. There's our power supply, which I talked about earlier, and it's got all these wires coming off it that go into different parts of the computer. Now, when they were designing computers, they thought, oh, if we put different endings on the different cables, then we can't mix up the bits. So each bit has got a different kind of ending. Well, not always, but so we can connect bits together. You can also connect the bits together with this, which is a ribbon, which is like lots of wires that will connect bits together. Okay, so there's our disk drive that we talked about earlier. Underneath that is where the hard drive is, which is this bit. Okay, now the hard drive is where all your programs are stored. And you know, when you buy a computer and they say it's got 500 gig of memory, that's your hard drive. Okay, right, so that's where all your programs and photographs and everything else are stored. Okay, so I'll put that down there. So we've got that kind of memory, but everything that's stored on there is just stable. You can't edit anything on the hard drive. So if we look inside the computer here, the brain of the computer is here. Okay, this is not the brain. You think this big thing is the brain? No, this is just a cover to protect the brain. We don't want that. Okay, is this the brain? No, this is not the brain. This is called a heat sink, because the brain, which is underneath there, which we'll look at in a minute, gets really hot when it's doing all that thinking. So what happens is all the heat from that brain comes up through here. There's a fan next to it. See the fan there, Josh? Okay, that blows air onto that and out of the computer. In fact, if I turn this on its side and made it about 50 times bigger, it looks a bit like a radiator, doesn't it? Because it does the same job as a radiator. But that's not the brain, so we don't want that either. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take the brain out of the computer. Could you just mop my forehead, please? Thank you. This is a delicate operation, and you see the blood might start squirting out. Oh, there it is. That's the brain. Okay, here we have the brain of the computer, which is called the Central Processing Unit. Okay, I'm going to stop there because we've got to 3 minutes, so you'll have to watch video 2 to carry on.